Today I want to do a review of David Blaine's Impossible Magic Show here in Las Vegas. I was so excited about it that I had to do the review now. I'm literally pulling out of the parking garage at the Encore on my way out of seeing the show, and it was absolutely amazing. I even got a pack of cards for one of the interactive tricks as a souvenir, because he did a trick for the whole audience. It was absolutely astounding in so many ways. I have seen other magicians perform. I just saw Penn and Teller. I just saw Shin Lim, and I thought Shin Lim would be the absolute best. He's the most famous young modern magician. He won America's Got Talent twice, and I gotta say, I think David Blaine is number one. I wouldn't say blew it'd be too harsh to say he blew everyone else out of the water, but this guy is just on another level. At least a different factor, I would say, is a lot of his tricks or skits or whatever you call it, they are pretty gruesome, and they basically evoke an emotion that none of the other magicians do, which is disgust. And I think that's why he's so unique. A lot of his tricks, and I'll be honest, some of them I've seen before online. Many of them I've seen before online. He does throw in a little bit of new stuff, but a lot of these things evoke a lot of fear, disgust, emotions that these other magicians don't. The other magicians, it's more about humor, fun, mystery, and then just like the trick happens and it's fun. But for better or worse, David evokes like disgust, with his like clothes hanger trick, pulling a wedding ring out of his stomach, or throwing up a frog, throwing up water and then gas to birth flames. A lot of it's kind of disgusting, and to be honest, that's partially why I was scared of coming to this, because like I wasn't sure. That's not the emotion I like. Some people love it. Some people love to be kind of grossed out. He does the ice pick trick, and people were like, some people were on the edge of their seat because they wanted to see the ice pick cut through his arm. I really don't like that stuff, but nonetheless, I was super curious to see him, because like he is one of probably the #1 magician in the world. He's been here for so long, but he's still stayed relevant with a lot of his tricks, and that's what I was telling the people on my left and right. We even had a special guest. He picked someone out of the audience who he recognized. It was Phineas, one of the greatest music producers of our time. He was in the audience with I believe his girlfriend or something, and he did the ice pick trick with David, and Phineas was grossed out the whole time, as expected, and it was just an amazing show. I would have loved to see some new stuff, but regardless, amazing. He did some new stuff, sleight of hand stuff. I'm not going to spoil it all, but he did do some card tricks and stuff that were new. But a lot of it was kind of like stuff I've seen before. Nonetheless, I mean, he's known for that stuff, which is why he's so amazing. And this is one of those rare shows. It's one of those things where, dude, he only has a few shows per year or per month, and that's for a reason. It's because a lot of it is like really endurance intensive. Like, he needs to be able to like hold his breath for like 9 minutes, and like that's taxing on his body. So unlike the other magicians where they're doing shows like every night, he only has a few shows per month or per year. I don't know exactly. At least in this year, it seems like he only has like 3 more shows for the next 4 months, and all of them are like in December. Right now I'm filming this in August, and I think he released like 3 shows. Point being, it was outstanding. It's more of a rare event, so I think it's more of a honor. It's to see his shows, because he's not pumping them out like the other magicians every night or 5 nights a week, because he can't. It's a lot of endurance stuff, drinking like 10 gallons of water to like belch it out and extinguish a flame, or swallowing a few frogs and belching them out, or getting your stomach ready to like pull out a wedding ring with the clothes hanger, or like hold your breath for so long. And he narrates the show and he tells you about this, and he explains why it's more endurance heavy than even like just one stunt in a row, because if he just does a stunt like hold his breath, that's all he has to do. He films it, it's public, it's done. But for these type of shows, he wants to show all of his tricks, which requires a lot more endurance than, like, you know, just one action. So point being, best magic show I've seen so far. If you have a chance to see it, do see it. You may even run into a celebrity. I mean, Phineas was like right there. He was in his suit, which is, you know, by the way, he dressed really sharp for this show. I'm in my shorts because I just wanted to come, you know, casually, conveniently. This guy was in a suit. You never know who might show up, but absolutely incredible. Phineas was literally like a few feet away from me, you know, getting drinks during the intermission. And so there's a few unique things about the show that you don't see in other magic shows. There's an intermission because, you know, some of his tricks require such physical preparation that he needs that extra time. Well, basically his last trick, his water tank trick, needed that. So that's why he needed that prep time. He even had his daughter out doing that trick with him, you know, giving him strength. He got very emotional at the very end to say farewell because of how far magic brought him. Really incredible stuff. I mean, he deserves his success. Really taxing stuff too. And also, you know, I would just say exceptional performance. If I had to rate it 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, I mean, I would have liked to see some new stuff, but, you know, new stuff takes time to develop. There was some new stuff, but I would love to see more. And absolutely incredible, super interactive with the audience. In fact, I felt like this was, even though like some of the other magicians I saw, they tried to be interactive with the audience, and they did. I think David was even the most interactive with the audience. He did, I would say, like 4 or 5, 6 different like acts where he was interacting with the whole audience. He had one where he threw a, you know, paper ball, and then they threw it a few times, and then he eventually found someone to do the trick to make it random. Then, you know, he called up a couple, and then the couple was super, like, you know, the girl especially was super like grossed out by it, and she was all narrating the whole time. So he did a bunch of tricks. He called up a little girl, and by the way, the audience was more international than I've seen from any of the other acts. There was one person called up from Paris. There's another little 9-year-old girl called up. She was apparently from Switzerland. So very international crowd who came to Vegas. I don't know if it was just to see David Blaine, but, like, you know, this guy clearly draws an international crowd from the other audience. And the theater was packed. I did not see an empty seat at all. For some of the other shows I'd seen, to be honest, there were some empty seats, especially towards the back. Incredible performance. You could tell he was really putting his effort into it. Like Shin Lim was my second. I mean, they're all really great, but the Shin Lim one, I don't know if it's because he was doing it so often, but his voice was almost like he lost his voice. It was like almost raspy, or like, you know, lacking in energy. But, you know, with David, he came in like full of like health and energy, like you could tell. And David, you know, if I had a critique, I would feel like, you know, he has this kind of like recognizable monotone voice. Even that, like, I would say like that could be improved. Like, you could have more animation and tone and variety in your voice to add more showmanship. But now, you know, he makes up for that in other ways. And even his voice tonight was like, I mean, it still had some of that monotone feel, but it was like excited. He had played some jokes. He had some energy. He was like mentally there. So like, you know, it just seemed like a different thing. Maybe I just caught Shin on a bad day, so I can't say for sure, but like, it was incredible. And I'm just gonna wrap up the freaking video by saying it was outstanding. Incredible performance. He actually does this trick that Shin also does a variation of. So they give like a pack of cards for all of us, all the audience members, and then they have us open it up during the performance. And I think both of them do a great job, but I would say David does it slightly better. He waits until the end to do this trick, so we're holding the cards until the end. Shin does his at the beginning, and honestly, there were people who were like 15-30 minutes late. And I'm not going to spoil the trick, but like, let's just say everyone pulls out a card at the end and unveils it, and their minds are blown. And they're both variations of the same trick, but like, I think David builds it up more, and then just like, now everyone's present. It's not like when people are still filing in because they're 15 to 20 minutes late, and then he's doing the trick while people are still like confused. So 10 out of 10, highly would recommend. I may even go see it again, but like I've probably seen it already, so I don't know if I would do that. But like maybe in a year or two, like if he like adds some new tricks, for sure I would see it again. If I knew he added some new tricks, I would see it again. Many of the audience members, like I talked to some of them, they had never seen his stuff online. So for those people, like they were blown away. But for me, just like being a fan of his already, seeing a lot of his stuff online, I was like still super pumped to see it live. And I love the variations on the trick. He did this one at the end with his daughter, and I don't want to spoil it, but like it was like a variation. And for me, because I took like half of a magician course on masterclass.com with Penn and Teller, like I could kind of piece together some of the like forces he does and like some of the things he does to make some of these things happen. But still, like some of it was just like, this is top of the class, because he's doing some stuff that like I can't explain how he did that, but some of it I could tell, like, okay, he forced that, that's how they knew that, and then like the order of the cards were predetermined. But point being, outstanding. I'm gonna stop rambling. Highly recommend seeing it. I might go see it again even. Thanks for watching.